Welcome to the Stronger Than Your Boyfriend podcast, a podcast for anyone into fitness.
Especially for those of you losing all of your muscle because you got injured.
We are Heather and Katie, owners of Barpath Fitness, here to help you sift through the bullshit and toxic misinformation that permeates the fitness industry. Today, we want to talk about movement as medicine.
Yes.
And why you should keep moving
Yes.
if you get injured. If you've ever tweaked your back and immediately thought, well, shit, I'm done for the month, not going to train anymore, this episode is for you. Today, we want to talk about why movement can and should be used as medicine when you're injured. And this is for both acute and chronic injuries, by the way.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up because I was recently at a family gathering, because 'twas the season.
Twas.
I guess when this episode comes out, 'twas the season. And someone started asking me about peptide therapy.
Yeah.
And they were asking me about like non-surgical interventions and what they can do for their back pain, right?
Movement.
Now, of course, I'm not a doctor,
Right.
but
You're not?
they know that I'm in fitness. So, you know, the family stuff they always ask me
Yeah.
questions. And I can only share my experiences. But my first question to this person was, she was like, I'm having severe back pain. I've had it for years. I have like rods in my back. I have this and that and that. And I was like, oh, well, what does your like rehabilitation, physical therapy, movement routine look like? She was like, I don't have one.
Not good.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
there's the first thing, right? Like this, and this is actually really common. Like people live with pain because either they don't know what they should be doing as far as movement, or they don't realize they can move and they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
And they're afraid of using exercise as a pain reduction strategy.
It's not the only strategy, but it's the top strategy.
Right.
And I don't know what was in the air this past month. There's been a lot, but I've had a few, not all of my clients, but a few clients just like in one injury, then another injury, and a couple of them were back injuries. And it was just doing something like there were, something mundane, like doing something in their day-to-day life. And it's like, it's the same thing. I'm just done. And I think a part of that is frustration, which I understand and I get. It's very frustrating to have an injury, but honestly, you got to get the fuck over it and start moving, because I'm like, I get it, do the self-loathing for a day, and then what else are you going to do? Are you just going to sit there and just be pissed, or are you going to do these movements? We understand that they're not going to be the heavy squats and deadlifts, etc., that you've been doing, but you just need to do it. And we'll talk about some, and I think we are going to go into, like specifically back pain, because that is the most common
for sure.
injury or chronic and acute type of pain. And people, I understand that it's nerve-wracking to move through it because it hurts.
Right.
But we're going to talk about pain too, and changing your relationship with pain.
I do think back pain is one of the biggest ones because it's related to your spine.
Yeah, everything.
Your central nervous system and your spinal cord. So I know people are very, very afraid to hurt their vertebrae and their spine.
Yes.
So I get it.
Yes, but with everything, movement is key.
There's also synovial fluid within your joints that needs to move. And your spine is one of the main kind of parts that you need to rotate it. You need to bend it. You need to flex it. Like it has to move to get that fluid moving. And that is part of the healing process. So
and the fluid brings nutrients to that area.
Exactly.
So
we talked a little bit about rice.
Right.
In a previous episode. Actually, it was back in 2022. I looked it up.
Really?
Episode 22. Yep.
Damn, we've been doing this for over 3 years, huh?
A long time.
Long time.
We have a lot of episodes.
We do.
But we talked about RICE in that episode. It stands for rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And everybody still goes to this, but we talk about in that episode who the doctor that created RICE actually recanted his stance.
Yes, which takes a big person to do.
Of course, yeah. Because there are basically 3 phases of recovery, which you can listen to in that episode. And the first phase is actually necessary inflammation.
Yes.
And so go back and listen to episode 22 if you want to learn about why inflammation is important at the beginning of an injury. And ice can, rest and ice particularly, can kind of fuck that up.
Yeah.
So,
It's also tricky too, because if you get someone who has an injury and they're like in the acute stages of it and they're feeling really inflamed.
Yeah.
I'm really torn because if it's so bad where it's preventing them from doing day-to-day life activities that they have to do, then I will tell them maybe take an NSAID.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, if you got a couple days and it's the weekend, just let it be. You don't want to quell the inflammation. That inflammation is necessary right now.
Yeah.
And it does suck.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable, but you need it.
Yeah.
It's just like, when people, they take like ibuprofen after like a long run or a hard lift. Like, what do you need? No. Like,
you want the inflammation.
You want that. You want that. So
for sure.
Yeah.
When dealing with an injury, blood flow is key, right? Like we were kind of talking about movement. Movement delivers nutrients, removes waste, and supports the tissues so that you can heal in that area. So you don't want to avoid everything when it comes to an injury.
Yes.
You want to work within your means and find ways to promote healthy blood flow to the area without causing re-injury.
Yes.
That's the main thing, or more issues. And that feels tricky. And that's where obviously physical therapy comes into play. And not just physical therapy, but once you graduate from physical therapy,
what do you need?
Personal training.
Yes.
Someone to help you figure out the pain scale, right?
Yeah. And if you are working with a trainer, I mean, I don't want this to come off as pretentious, but like, my clients who've gotten injured, you have me. And I'm not going to just be like, well, we have to squat, bench, deadlift, squat, like lift heavy. That's not what we do as trainers. We have to adjust constantly. So if that means we have to do more mobility movements, more corrective exercise movements, then we will do that. And you have someone at your disposal. You have the means to afford us, use us. And yes, also use a physical therapist. I understand that this is a lot, but there is something you need to address, obviously, when an injury happens. And that's what we are there for. We as in us as trainers and physical therapists. So I mean, it's key, I think, because people either they don't know what to do, so they just stop moving, or they just kind of push through it and they don't know. I mean, like people fall in those two camps, right? Yeah. Like they either go too hard or they go too little, right?
So true.
So, the consistent and the strategic movement during an injury, it'll help. So, especially when we're talking about with back pain, eventually it just becomes stiff, right? It'll help reduce the stiffness. And as you move and as you figure out what movements you can do, it helps to just reduce that fear over time too.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because I think that is one of the biggest hurdles to an injury, like to overcome. So I think it's not the only part of the healing process. Like your body is going to do what it's going to do, and our bodies are amazing, and they have natural healing processes, and you can do movements to help that. But I think that the mental aspect is honestly one of the biggest parts. And you don't want to stop strength training. There's always something you can do.
Right.
You don't want to, you want to minimize the muscle loss, right? And that matters. So if you just stop training, long periods of inactivity, you'll lose muscle, you'll be very deconditioned. And when you feel that way, it's going to feel a lot harder to come back to training.
Yeah.
It really is. And that part really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that fear is our biggest hurdle when it comes to injury, and that's why having someone else as like a professional to help you get over that fear is bigger than even the exercise you're doing. I truly believe that.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you know what exercises to do.
Right.
You could Google it. You have that the doctor who McGill, So it's the bird dog, it's the dead bug, it's the side plank.
Yeah.
Anyone can Google that and just do it.
Right.
But if you a big part of the reason why people come to trainers, at first is, they need someone to tell them what to do.
Right.
So you could have your trainer tell you, do these movements, this many times, this often, but also just it's the coaching aspect.
Yeah.
If I got injured, you better be damn sure I would be talking to my coach and be like, fuck, what do I do now? Like, talk me down from this, even though I am a coach myself.
Right.
So it's like, everyone needs that. We're not perfect beings here. You've been injured. I've been injured. We're both trainers. We're both professionals. It happens. Yeah. It's kind of part of it, even though you always want to work to make sure it's not part of it, but it just is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's always, we're not perfect. We're always going to push it. We're always going to be feeling it one day, or we just overlook something, and it's okay, but you still should work to not be a nut state.
I do wish that the general population understood that they're at risk of way more pain and limitations if they stop training or never train.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of folks are afraid to do things like deadlifts. They're afraid to do things like loaded spinal movements or back squats because they're like, I don't want to hurt myself.
Right.
The reality is the risk is higher if you don't do anything.
Yeah, because when you fall and you're strength training, it's not going to be, you're not even going to think about it. But when you fall and you have no muscle mass or very little muscle mass, you might be dead soon. And that's a big difference right there. So I want to get into the back pain or back injury because, you know, these could be very different. They could look very different. But chronic back pain is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that people just live with. It's an uncomfortable state of being. Yeah. And it sucks. And then there's also the acute back injury, like maybe you pushed it too hard on a deadlift or something and you tweaked. That sucks too. I mean, they both suck. And if you continue to do these, you know, tweaks, you could set yourself up for more like chronic back pain. Yeah. But I think chronic back pain is more so you're not focusing on your mobility. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that you're just this avid person who strength trains, right? This fitness enthusiast. You could be just a deconditioned person and you need to focus on mobility work too. Like it's not, okay, well, you're a fitness person, so you're going to work on your mobility. Everyone needs to. You want to be mobile until the day you die, right? And again, like we're saying, this is just the most common injury for people to just shut down training completely. And I get it, but this is the last injury you should do that with. Yeah. To just stop training because, like you were saying, your spine, your trunk, your torso, whatever you want to call it, is involved in almost everything you do. Yeah. When you sit, when you stand, when you walk, etc. Every which way you move, your trunk is involved. And it's okay to feel some pain, okay? And this is where, again, a professional can help you manage that. Everything is a spectrum. I'm like full believer in this, that most things in life exist on a spectrum. Pain is one of them. I tell my clients, if your pain, if we're talking like 1 to 10 scale, and everyone knows this scale, you've been to the doctor before. Yeah. They literally have that
little smiley face
like, chart. So you can gauge this, right? And I get that it's a skill you can kind of train over time to get more in tune with your body, and some people might exaggerate this at first or maybe not exaggerate it enough, just depending on what camp you fall into. But I always tell my clients, if your pain is more than a 4, let me know. This isn't the movement then. We need to do a different movement because I want to keep it to a 4 or a less. Yeah. You know, and that's fine with me. And, you know, just explaining to them that you need to move. It's going to be painful. No matter what. Even if you were just sitting around, your back would be in pain. Yeah. And you would be in pain. So why not do some movement and figure out what we can work on, what we can actually do to move the spine, and then eventually what movements we can do to help prevent this from happening again. Right. And that is the key. Yeah. Especially like we're talking about with back pain, you can always do a cat-cow, right? You can always,
even if it's just like literally like one vertebrae feels like it's moving. Yeah, that's what I did when I was
this is why I'm bringing up these examples, because you can always do a glute bridge. If you're getting your hips up maybe 2 inches off the floor, better than nothing.
Or if you're just tilting your pelvis, maybe your glutes don't even lift.
I have my clients do that as a warm-up now, just to, before, like, well, most of my clients are doing full body, so a lot of my clients are doing those just on the floor pelvic tilt, so they can understand what, articulating their pelvis feels like, anteriorly or posteriorly. Yeah. And side planks. You can always do these off your knees, and you can support yourself with the opposite hand too. Bird dogs, you can half extend your arm and half extend your leg. Right. Same thing with a dead bug laying on your back. You can go down in a very minimal range of motion, and that is still 10 times better than just sitting around. Yeah. Because over time, you work this shorter range of motion up to the bigger one, and that is telling you you're healing. Yep. You are strengthening something. Yeah. And that is what you need to strengthen. Yeah. Strengthen. Yeah. So
I think it's important to remember that pain is not always a sign of damage. I think we feel pain and we think, oh shit, I'm hurting myself.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's not always the case. Sometimes, sure, right? But not always, especially if you've already been injured,
Yeah.
or if it's chronic, or if you're coming back from an injury, there will be some pain during recovery, and it's it's actually part of the process.
Well, think of it this way: strength training.
Yeah,
you feel it's kind of painful.
Pain. Yeah,
it's painful, but it's like it's it's good.
Yeah,
you're strengthening your muscles.
It's just something we need to learn how to measure and work with. So the pain scale that you were talking about, and physical therapists do that too. They tend to go even a little higher on that scale, but since we're not doctors or physical therapists, we stay really safe in the, hey, we don't want you to actually feel like pain, or it's like there's going to be some discomfort and a little pain, but nothing above a 4. I like that.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm not saying all pain, no gain, right?
Yeah.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do need to get rid of the if it hurts, I'm making it worse mindset.
Yeah.
Because that is like the whole thing. We have to develop those strategies with a professional, either a physical therapist or a trainer.
Yeah.
Fear and avoidance can prolong our injuries significantly. So we have to learn how to face that fear. And I think that requires education around what's acceptable as far as pain. So you like telling your clients a 4, right? Or when I went to my physical therapist for my back injury, I can't remember what number she gave me. It was higher, but I was under her guidance doing movements.
Yeah.
So we moved through some pain, right? And anybody who's been through physical therapy knows it's not without pain.
No.
Like, there is pain.
And
so it's just part of the healing process.
Yeah, I think some people, once they get to the physical therapy or their office, then maybe start becoming a little bit more okay with the pain.
That's the fear.
Yeah.
It's the fear. You have to have someone help you get over the fear.
And that's why I love physical therapy for that purpose, because this is like, oh, this is almost prescribed to someone who has an injury or pain. So it's like, okay, well, if they're going to let me be in pain, it must be okay. So it's just such a huge mental hurdle to get over. And we're not discounting how much it sucks. We both have been there. You definitely just want to like, self wallow and be like, fuck this, like, fuck that. But then what? You can't just stay in that state forever. You have to change it and you have to fix it. Yeah. Or else you'll never want to train again. Yeah. So, I mean, pick your hard, right?
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
I mean, life is painful.
Yeah.
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 And strength is the key. You need to be strong.
You have to figure out what it is that you can do and work on the weaknesses. You still have to work on the weaknesses that cause the pain too.
Right.
I think that's the other big thing.
Yeah.
Like there's all these phases. So in our phases of injury podcast, we talk about this a little bit. Like inflammation is the first phase. And it sucks. That's the worst phase when there's inflammation.
Yeah.
And yes, at some point you have to ice it. You have to take something. Maybe you have to get a shot, whatever it is. At some point it's just too much.
Yeah.
Yes,
I get
of course. We're not saying like
just deal with it.
Through it.
Yeah.
Deal with the pain. But at some point, you have to start moving.
Yeah.
And then what I kind of think about with these like Band-Aids, because in America we love Band-Aids, right? We love like corticosteroids, like injections, things that like, help the pain, but they're not fixing the problem.
No, absolutely not.
And I wish they would tell people that. I feel like doctors are just like, yep, we're going to give you this shot and you're going to feel better. But they don't explain this isn't fixing the problem.
Well, they want you to come back. They make money off of that shot. Yeah.
But the way I see it, what they should be saying is use this time when you're feeling better to work on the issue. Yeah, that's the important part.
I hope this changes. I don't really see that mesh yet between healthcare providers and, like strength training piece, like the physical, I feel like they're still maybe recommending cardio for help. I don't know.
It depends on
the provider. I feel like there are some that are getting better at
sports medicine.
And I will say with the GLP-1s out, I think they are like, you need to strength train. So maybe that's starting to shift.
That's true.
But yeah, you're right. There's a phase to each of the healing, part of the journey.
I had a lot of success with shockwave therapy.
Yeah.
And EMTT. I did both, so I don't know which one, I didn't like separate the variables which one, but all of these like methods that work are slow.
Yeah.
They take forever.
Right.
They're not covered by insurance right now, at least in most cases I've found. But they're basically doing what your body normally does, which is bring blood flow to the area. So
Yeah.
it brings a shit ton of, blood flow and movement and stuff to the area, and then the cells move and things start happening and you start healing.
Yeah.
And so I did that for, I think, 7 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that, as well as PRP, platelet-rich plasma, which I did not end up having to do, but if I would have, if I would have still been injured or hurting, I would have done it. You're not supposed to do any sort of corticosteroid injection, ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do anything to reduce inflammation when you're undergoing shockwave therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for 8 weeks, I was in pain, but I wasn't allowed to take ibuprofen or any pills.
Ooh, that's rough. Right?
But because the point is inflammation.
I know.
It's what?
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
So think about that. Like, you have to have that pain for it to work.
Part of me just thinks, I feel like people just pop ibuprofen for everything.
I know.
And don't get me wrong, when it's that time of the month, that is like, I live off of it because I don't want to feel like shit, but I'm like, is there something to just
I
like
try
feel
so hard not to.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I do that though. I do my little my heating pad.
Yeah.
And I do a meditation.
Yeah.
On the pain.
Yeah.
I don't try to distract myself from the pain. I literally sit there when my cramps are the worst, and I put my heating pad on and I do a meditation, and I sit with the pain.
You're better than me.
It helps.
You're better than me.
Then if it gets too bad, I pop a Vinyl. But I try.
Yeah. If I'm
every month I try.
Yeah. I should try to do that. It's just half the time I'm at work or I'm trying to sleep and I don't want to not sleep. But this is kind of an off tangent, but it's like things are just painful sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's a purpose to pain. Your body tells you something hurts for a reason.
Yeah.
But you have to have a work on your relationship with pain.
Right.
That's what I think one of the biggest takeaways from this episode is just work on your relationship with it.
That is key. Yeah. But if you are trying to figure out like, okay, sure, I will get over my fear. I will figure that out. But what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I think we should go into that a little bit.
Yeah. So it obviously depends on the injury.
Right.
And obviously there's a lot more injuries than just back pain. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, once we've gotten through the rehab stage where now we can do more things, we need to, this is where obviously a help from a professional would be the best case scenario, but we need to figure out why is this happening and what caused it. And this can take a long time.
Years.
Yeah. Don't expect your trainer to just know. Don't expect your physical therapist to just know. Okay. Mm-hmm. They can guess, and there's general reasons as to why a back injury happens or acute chronic back pain. Mm-hmm. So yes, there are things that both of those professionals can do to help strengthen, which will always help no matter what.
It took me a long time to figure out that mine was my SI joint.
Yeah.
Every other doctor thought it was disc herniation and wanted me to get an MRI.
Yep.
And when I went to Christina, physical therapist, she was like, she has some awesome information and opinions, and there is a lot of research that shows when you know what the injury is, you then are more scared and you heal less fast, right? So she was like, okay, what is an MRI going to do?
Right.
Like, what is it going to tell you if you go and get a herniated disc?
Right.
And she's like, I'm not telling you not to do it.
Yeah.
Go do it if you want. But like, what will you do with that information? Mm-hmm. It's not going to change the treatment plan.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. So I never got an MRI.
Right.
Which is fine because I didn't want to pay for it. But then eventually I went to another doctor because it was getting really bad. Yeah. And he immediately did a couple of tests and knew it wasn't my spine.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't get the MRI because it would have shown nothing.
Yeah.
Who knows? But like, it probably would have shown nothing.
Yeah.
It was my SI joint and did an ultrasound ligament tear. Like
crazy.
Yeah.
And
but took forever.
Yeah. And all the movements you were doing, obviously,
it's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
He gave me it doesn't matter what the injury is. I was doing the same shit.
But
it was good to know that it was a ligament tear so that I could start taking more aggressive treatment like the shockwave.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize the stability portion was going to be so important in the rehab. So that's the piece that I think I was missing.
Yeah. And obviously it's key to find out what it is, because when you have an actual tear, well then yes, you kind of do need to just maybe leave certain movements alone.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to tear anything else or make it worse. But with something like that, it's still, the rehab is still going to look, or the comebacks
pretty damn
is
similar.
still going to look similar.
Everything else I was doing.
You know, here's a prescription with back pain. Mostly unilateral training, a lot of stability, single leg hinging. We're going to work, you know, with your shoes off probably. We're going to start from the feet, strengthen your stability. We're going to strengthen your glutes and your hips and your hip flexors. We're going to stretch and strengthen them.
This is post the
This is like,
therapy.
yeah, this is post physical therapy.
Right.
You've been cleared to do more movements.
Yeah.
Maybe there's still some pain, or maybe you're out of pain, but now we're scared. We don't want this to happen again.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the prescription.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on the person, their injury, how long they were in that, you know, top pain level scale for, what the injury actually was. Is it chronic? Is it acute? Obviously, we can't just give a prescription, but we kind of can. Like, kind of gave you.
You can give an exercise prescription.
Yeah, I mean, cats,
That's what
cows,
they
bird
call it.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just do that. Do those things. And, you know, another one, common injury, if we want to shift to the upper body, shoulder pain. This is just the most common one. And it kind of makes people want to give up too. And maybe just they want to work on their lower body, or if they can't do their upper body, they're just like, fuck it, I don't want to train in general. And most of the time it's that shoulder flexion. It's just like reaching all the way overhead, right? And you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that as you age. Then you're going to be in a really bad spot, I think, the older you get. So you want to fix that shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with shoulder pain, it's something in that scapula, right? That stability in the scapula. There's a muscle that's not really firing that well. You're not connecting to. It's weak. You haven't really trained. It's very overlooked. So, I mean, again, it's one of those things where it depends on the person. It depends on the injury. I've got an online client right now. He's got a not good shoulder. But right now, he can do chin-ups. And it's like, okay, we can do chin-ups now, but
Wow.
certain...
But he keep it to wide grip.
Yeah,
That's right.
certain that it doesn't feel good. He's pretty badass. He can rope climb or climb the rope or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, it's
Everything in.
yeah,
It's
the
just
elbow,
external rotation and then.
the external rotation we can't do, but doing those movements help.
Yeah.
Pulling, you can still do pulling movements generally. I would say 98% of the time with a shoulder injury, and that's gonna move your shoulder though. And
Right.
there's some movement there. So it's hard to just sit here and say, do this, do X, Y, and Z. You need a prescription for yourself, really.
Yeah.
You need a plan for yourself.
Right.
But more so, the thing we're trying to hammer home is figure it out.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you have to try. And it might not work the first time. It might not work the second time. It might not work for 10 years like it didn't for you. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's been like almost 10 years you were dealing with this shit.
Yes.
And you were
I still deal with it.
you were still able to
by the
train.
way.
Yeah.
Like I will have flare-ups after I do
Yeah.
a heavy leg day. I really don't train barbell back squats, at least not super heavy. I like to do front squats. That feels a lot better
Oh yeah.
for my SI joint. It just does. But I honestly rarely do that. It's mostly single leg
And that's fine.
because I know about my instability
Yeah.
issues and my compensation when I'm doing something bilateral.
Yeah.
But sometimes after a heavy leg day, I will wake up the next day and I will have it's nothing like it
Talking to
was.
you.
But yeah, it's the
like, hey.
nerves
Uh-huh.
all through my glutes and my upper legs are awake
Yeah.
and tired and hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can just tell, and I know that I need to do something. Like when I wake up and I feel that nerve pain and stiffness, I know that I immediately need to do some sort of routine.
Yeah.
So I go right into my movement routine.
Good.
I do
Yeah.
some little cat cows. I actually do we have a video on Facebook where I did all these. The one where I kind of do like a froggy stance on the ground and I
Yeah.
squeeze my inner thighs as hard as I can.
Yeah.
That takes the pressure out of my low back, peeing dogs. Like
Yep.
I have this whole routine.
Yeah.
And it helps. And I do it 4
Yeah.
to 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And I have to.
Yeah,
It helps
you
with the
were
pain.
a few years ago you were doing
Yeah.
that routine.
Yep.
Or a routine.
Multiple times a day. Anytime I felt pain, that's what I did.
And we're not saying you have to do that. I mean, we understand people have kids and jobs and lives,
Yeah.
but
It takes 5 minutes on your floor though.
yeah, and
Like,
it's,
if you're
it's
in pain,
one of
it's
those
the
things,
best thing you can do.
you are gonna fucking do it if you are in that much pain.
Yeah.
I don't care what you. I mean, people people come up with like thousands of dollars to fix pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
know.
if you're in pain,
Yeah.
you will figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
So if you want to train and you don't want to be in pain anymore,
Yeah.
number one, you will do it. You will take the 5 minutes,
Yep.
take a break from work,
Yep.
and do it.
That's all I did for a while when I was first injured. I would say the first, it might have been a whole week. Because I
Yeah.
could barely walk.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2 weeks. And then as soon as I could, I got back in the gym and I just did chest supported, back supported, everything.
And that's great.
Yep.
That's what those
Supported
exercises,
rows,
yeah.
back supported chest press, like whatever I could do.
I mean,
helped.
I have a couple clients who've had back injuries. One in particular, we've gotten him so far with it, but I don't do barbell rows with him.
Right.
I don't have him set up. We
Yeah.
just supported rows always.
Always supported. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's got
I have a client like that
he
too.
had a shoulder. He had so many injuries, but he's doing great now. But like yours, his shoulder.
Mhm.
You know, he's a pilot. He travels, and it's he gets kind of stiff, and his shoulder hurts. But we can't bench press with the bar today. Can we bench press elbows in with dumbbells?
Mhm.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not. And luckily, he is the type of client that's like, I will do what you tell me,
Right.
and I don't want to stop doing it. And I understand that this is painful, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
This is a 2. Great.
Yeah.
We'll do it. And he's fine with it now. So it's good. You can get to that point,
Yeah.
and there's always something you can do. There is literally always something you can do. There's
Yeah.
some kind of movement you can do.
Yeah.
And this will come out after our this or that episode.
Yeah.
We said high reps or low reps
Yeah.
for the rest of our life. This is kind of why we would pick, both of us, spoiler alert, if you haven't listened, high reps if we had to pick one. Because for as you age, things can get a little more stiff and a little more risky. And not saying it's because you're aging, it's just, kind of, though.
Yeah.
And this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
But again, if you can lift heavy, do it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So I think takeaway, keep moving.
yes,
Work with professionals if you can.
do it.
Obviously start with your doctor always. And, but honestly get second opinions. Like
Yeah.
talk to multiple doctors if you can. Seek out people in sports medicine or non-surgical interventions.
Mhm.
It's really nice to get different opinions and have all the information. Physical therapists are your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody,
Trainers.
I know everybody thinks that physical therapy is, oh, I just got injured, so insurance pays for this many sessions. That is an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, it sucks here.
It sucks.
Healthcare. We get it.
Some of my favorite physical therapists just don't take insurance.
Yeah.
Because of how it's all fucked up.
Right.
So if
But-
you can think of it like a really expensive personal training session,
Yeah.
I highly recommend getting a few sessions with a physical therapist
even if it's just one a month.
and then transitioning to a personal trainer and
Yeah.
having them talk.
Yes.
Like, I think that's key. Like, if you can get 3 to 4 sessions with a PT
Mm-hmm.
who knows a trainer or knows or you can get them to talk to your trainer, and maybe the PT is, $250 an hour, $200 an hour. Like, it's not cheap.
It's not
But
cheap.
you get that baseline information that you need from the PT.
Mm-hmm.
You take that to your trainer, who might be $100 an hour, and you do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're an online coach, and that's even cheaper. But like, that is what you need. That is
Yeah.
so much cheaper than going back and getting your steroid shots. I don't care if it's covered by insurance.
Yeah.
Like, it is so much better to start moving and finding a team that can help you start moving.
Here's what I always, I talk to my clients about this. Most of the clients that I train are like in their middle-aged years.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't prioritize their health when they were younger, and now they're paying for it.
Right.
So it's like, do you want to pay for it now, or
Yep.
do you want to pay for it later?
Yeah.
Or do you want to pay, and I should really say, do you want to pay more later?
Mm.
Because it's not, you can invest in it now.
Yeah.
But if you don't invest, in your younger years, and not saying like you're doomed if you haven't yet, you will pay for it later.
Yeah.
Not invest. You will pay for it. You're going to be paying to fix a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So injuries happen. It's okay. You didn't screw up. You're not a fuck up. You're not doing something wrong. Sometimes it just happens.
Yep.
Sometimes even us, sometimes we're like fucking going for it on a squat, and you're like, well, shit, I think I just tweaked my back.
Yeah. It happens.
Okay, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to happen to you at some point if it hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you just know what to do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, great. you know, maybe you're just crushing all the stability and unilateral training and mobility. You're special. You're great. But it's you, like I said, you will find a way to pay for it if it's worth it.
Yeah.
No one wants to live in pain.
Yeah.
You can save up.
And if for some reason you can't access, you know, training and physical therapy and all that jazz, hopefully you hear this.
And join our Facebook group.
And join our Facebook
It's
group.
free.
Ask some questions, you know, do as much research as you can. The McGill Big Three, look it up. I mean, that's a very simple, I think it's pretty simplified for most injuries, but start there.
Do something.
You can't really fuck it up. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Just do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. We'll end it on just do something.
Just do something.
All right.
Okay.
Peace out.